it is actually very dumb. 1 plus 1 is never 2. I believe 1 plus 1 is 11.
Hello and welcome everyone on Middle Manager Mastery Podcast with me, your host, Shruti Rustagi. Today I have somebody who builds partner ecosystems from nothing. When Neha Agarwal took over GSP leadership for India at AWS, it was a nascent function. Untapped potential, no playbook, no precedent, so she built one. She operates as an ecosystem orchestrator, seeing carefully where the partners are, where the customers are, and where is AI moving the market. Then she builds the structural engine that connects all three into predictable, scalable revenue, not once, but consistently. So glad to have you here, Neha.
Thank you so much, Shruti. And for people who don't know, when I joined Amazon, Shruti actually coached me. So it is such an honor to be with you on this podcast.
The honor's totally mine, Neha. All right, let's jump in. So I'm going to ask you that what has been your biggest learning in leading sales teams and not just in AWS, but like even previously? So tell us about it.
Shruti, I started my career as a salesperson, and I had no experience. I was a civil engineer. I jumped into IT sales. I didn't know how to sell, but my boss gave me a challenge. He said, if you can sell something in 3 months, you're going to stay. And I didn't know why that challenge is, but I sold half a PC in those 3 months. And I thought I would lose my job, but he actually cut a cake for that half a PC. And he said, if you can make that first sale, you can actually sell. And that is when I realized that it is not so much about technique. So many people talk about so many things. I had none of it actually. And I learned something very, very important, that people don't buy from the smartest people. People actually buy from people they trust, and it is very
Hmm.
important to build that trust. And once you have that trust, and for that you need radical honesty. If you are honest, you understand that person's needs, business goals, and then you're honest about your product and how it can help them meet those needs, actually then sales just happens. In most of my career, I have had a coach, a guide in every customer and partner organization who have guided me, who tells me how I would do my numbers, what I should be doing next. And I have been their AI or tech coach. So I have told them what is happening in the tech world, and they tell me how do I do my numbers. So actually no radical sales technique is needed. One thing that is really needed is radical honesty. You have to earn that trust, and you need to understand their business. I think that is core of my sales philosophy.
Amazing. Loving it already, Neha. So tell us a little bit about how can people go about learning the business, especially salespeople. What should they do? What are some of the things that you have done and you think you've done well to actually understand your customers' businesses?
So it is very simple. Ask questions.
Hmm.
When you meet them, ask questions, and whatever you hear, always note down, come back, research a little bit, have a community. What has really helped me is 1 plus 1 is never 2. I believe 1 plus 1 is 11. So if you are able to tap into your community, your partner ecosystem, that is actually very powerful. Wherever I've been stuck, and if I have partnered with somebody in that deal, actually the deal has moved with so much velocity. So, listening and collaborating are two superpowers when it comes to learning business much faster. Like, you don't have so much time, you need to learn it very, very quickly, sometimes in minutes. Like, in that conversation, you can't say, I don't.
Yeah, so ask questions and stay like with curiosity and listen well, like you said. And then what you said is very interesting, which I think not many people do, building communities and tapping into the broader ecosystem. How does one go about building a community, Neha? And I'm asking that question because it's difficult. Like, it could be, yeah, I'll meet up with my batchmates from my B school, maybe college, something like that. But how do you build a community when you don't know people within the organization, like you're going there afresh? So, how do you build that community?
Give, give, get.
Give,
You,
get. Okay.
give, get. So we all are very interested in getting what we want, but if we all start giving what we want and give it more than we get it, like it just builds it so fast.
Hmm. Hmm.
If you
Nice.
are in that giving mindset, the community just builds.
Beautiful. Tell us an example, Neha. I'm curious to know where you've used this philosophy and where it has really played out well for you.
Shruti, I use it all the time, but I'll tell you, when I had moved from sales to alliances, I had
Mm-hmm.
zero contacts in alliances. I was
Mm-hmm.
a seller. I knew customers much more than I knew partners. And nobody knew me. I was like a nobody, and I was building the alliance function from scratch from for CMS IT. It was I didn't know how to do it, but anybody whom I met, if I could connect them with somebody, if I could give them a customer contact, if I could solve a sales problem, I knew to solve sales problems. So that's what I started doing, and I started solving those problems for people. And in that process, I met a bunch of alliance folks, and they said, we have a WhatsApp group, and would you want to join? I joined. I started contributing. I was one of the moderators, and now it is a community of almost 400 alliance professionals.
Wow.
So any number that I need is right there. And within 2 years, I knew everybody in alliances industry. And today, whenever my team says or my boss says, I say so and so is my friend, so he says everybody is your friend.
Your friend. And the framework is so simple: give, get. So give more than you're expecting to get back. That's the fundamental philosophy. Yeah. So far, I think we've captured some really interesting things. So we ask questions, stay with curiosity, listen well, build community, and the best way to build community is give, get. Now, let's get down to something, something that sales often faces. So, most sales managers think pushing their teams harder is how they would hit their quota. But what if that's exactly what's killing their numbers? In your experience, in your mind, what is the best way for salespeople to think about quota and think about how to get there?
So, Shruti, I'm going to burst two myths here,
Okay.
and you may not like it, listeners may not like it, but this is after years of leading sales, that pushing actually works and
Mm.
quota is a magic. If
Oh,
you a
okay.
quota is assigned to you, automatically your brain starts working, how can I complete it? And I'll give
Hmm.
you a very small and very funny example of this. I didn't know marketing at all because I'm a salesperson. I then learned partnerships. I had no idea how marketing works. My boss wrote my name on blackboard, and he wrote that I need to complete 5 events, and he wrote that against my name, and he would not rub it. He said, you complete 5 events, marketing events, and then I will rub it. And it was written against my name. I had no idea on marketing, but I completed those 5 events because I didn't want my name there. That is the power when something is assigned against your name, how your brain works. So, quota is magical. Pushing is real. It works. When you push the client, when you push the teams, it actually happens. But I'll tell you the catch. If somebody is at 80%, somebody is at 90%, you can push and take them to 100%. It absolutely works and it's real. Then it is only a question of discipline.
Hmm.
But if somebody is at 20% of that number, they are just not there, then it's a design problem. If you push, it breaks.
Hmm.
So
That's a
if
very, very fair one.
So if one team member is sitting at 20% of the target, I never shout at. I would never even have that conversation. Why are you missing your numbers? Where is the lag? What can we do more? I sit on the drawing board. Then I know something I have wrongly designed, because if I have made a design, nobody can be at 20%. And if still that person is at 20%, it is not that person's fault, it is my fault.
Very interesting. And what have you found, Neha, in those cases? Because I'm sure you must have had your share of those 20% in your teams too. What have you found are some of the design problems? And like, just give us an example of how did you go about then solving the design problem instead of pushing the team?
See, I'll give you a very recent example.
Mm-hmm.
In India market, I was not able to understand. I myself was at 20%, and I was not able to understand how is it possible. Like, I've never missed my target in my life. I would always design. I work very hard, and I was at 20%. And I realized that lot of these global organizations who are headquartered in India actually have no field force in India. They are only delivery centers that are based in India. They have no field force in India. They have capability, but there is no sales capacity. So
Mm-hmm.
actually, they cannot acquire new logos. So
Okay.
if
You'll have
people
to
are
dump it down for us a little bit
okay,
more.
okay, I will tell you. Suppose take an example of Infosys. There are
Okay.
so many people sitting in India, but they're all focused on delivery, and they do some
Hmm.
large government projects. Like
Right.
complete GSTN tax system is with them for the government of India. So they pick up some very large projects, and they have large delivery organization. But if
Got
you're
it.
acquiring new logos, they are not playing into that.
Acquiring new customers or
New
projects with
customers,
newer companies.
projects, new
Got
accounts.
it. They will not want to do
They
that
will
because
not.
they're already so busy in doing one
Busy.
huge project.
Yes,
Understood?
yes. And I
Okay.
had so many partners like that. So if
Oh.
there are team members who are assigned to these partners, the numbers are not bound to happen.
Hmm. And so
So
what
it's
did you do then?
I said, we will double down on multinationals or big partners, right? Who are global in nature, who are trying to come to India. They are very keen. They are hungry.
Hmm.
Even if they don't have today big customer base, they want to make it big. So I went and met their CEOs, India heads, and I signed up strategic collaboration agreements with them, saying we'll fast track because there is an opportunity window, let us do it together. So
Hmm.
rather than
Hmm.
pushing one set, I said let us double down on another set, and it was a strategic bet that I had to take.
Wonderful. And I won't go into details of that, but the thing that strikes me here is you had the experience probably behind you that told you what is the right set of partners then to go with, if not them. Right, because the problem is that even if I were to like think of somebody in the same situation, they may have figured out, okay, so these people don't have the sales force, they cannot get more new customers, but they what they wouldn't have been able to figure out is who should they then go and target. And that's a very interesting thing which I think comes from years of experience that you have. Is there a magic formula for you to figure out, or is there a way that you would then put your brain and say, okay, so how am I thinking about these customers and partners? Is there a magic to that, or it's really just experience and so you knew that you had to go with somebody
There is
different?
no magic, Shruti. It is actually very dumb. Where customers are buying, and how are they buying? It is all in the customer, customer obsession.
That
where
is true.
where customer is buying, how are they buying, from whom are they buying.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
is so simple, it is so dumb actually. Like you have to just go and sit in those sales calls, meet those sales folks to get this answer. There's no
Absolutely.
experience actually needed here. It is just simple what customer is doing.
Yep. Yep. You're absolutely right. That is so true. All right. So then what you're saying is in most cases, actually pushing on the quota and having a quota fundamentally helps. But then there are cases when people are so far away that then it becomes a design problem. So you're solving a wrong problem if you're pushing them on the quota when it's a design problem. And so then if I were to ask you, what do you think about work life harmony situation? Because of course sales is definitely not easy because you're dependent on somebody else to finish off your performance targets. So there is a fair bit of stress involved and there's definitely a fair bit of push involved and so on. What would you say is the right way to sort of manage that work life harmony for them?
Shruti, I have been a victim of this work life harmony. I don't know for how many years I have tried to strike that balance and be that good mother, be that good daughter, be that good wife. And trust me, my life was out of balance. I was
Hmm.
trying so hard. And as you said, right, sales can be demanding sometimes. If the client is available at night, you end up being there. So I have come from sales calls at night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I don't know what was wrong in my head. I have even tried making rotis at that time, and I felt it's my duty to serve hot food to everyone and home cooked food. And then a switch shifted in my head, and I realized that, it's okay to not do everything. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay if people eat out from one day. It's okay, doesn't matter who made these rules.
Yeah,
I
we
only made
ourselves.
them. So it's okay to break rules.
I love that, Neha. I love it so much. Especially because, being women, we tend to put so much of that burden on us to be like perfect in every sphere. Why? Why the heck? It's okay.
That actually is the biggest killer of harmony. Yeah, I can't tell you how nasty I was while making those rotis. It would be nasty to everyone, and I'm serving food with so much anger. I don't know what harmony I was creating, but I felt it's my duty to do. And in that process, I was so mean to rude to everyone, but still I was doing it. I was tired. People were tired of listening to, my
To them.
mumbling. So, and then something shifted in my head, and I said, it's okay. I can just maximize each moment and outsource the rest, ask for help, negotiate better terms, tell. Made my kids learn cooking. They cook very well. So the day I am late, they just take over the kitchen. Or I call my house help and I say, I need this help. Can you do this for me? So I started negotiating a lot more, asking for a lot more, breaking a lot more rules. I am much happier. People around me are happier. So I think the idea is wherever you are and you feel this particular thing is critical, be fully present. And for rest, negotiate, ask for help, outsource, break rules. It is all acceptable
I agree. And it's all in our heads ever
in
so
our
often.
heads.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, our kids don't even mind. My kids love it when they get to have pizza from outside. They're not the
Yes.
ones who are waiting for the homemade hot food for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I really like that. And yes, that's why I hate calling it balance because I don't think it's ever a balance. You are never balancing. You're optimizing one and sometimes you're optimizing the other. And that's how I like to think of it. So I completely agree. And sometimes the house can be just a little bit in shambles. It's okay. You don't have to tidy it up and make it perfect. Totally agree. I'm going to now ask you about something slightly different. When, and especially for middle managers like the sales managers, if you will, right? What we often see is when people promote their best salespeople into management, sometimes the performance actually suffers after they're promoted. What do you think goes wrong there? And what should be done instead?
See, Shruti, I feel, and I tell this often to my team, that middle managers are actually the backbone of the organization. Like how
100%.
that organization is, you will not know by their leadership, you will know by the middle management layer that they promote. And most of the times, all your rock stars, right, who are selling so much actually get promoted, but they are good in one skill, that is sales. To
Hmm.
be a top notch middle manager, you need three things. You should
Hmm.
know how to sell, you should know how to build, and you should also know how to destroy when it is absolutely essential. So, like
Hmm.
Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, you need all three qualities. You need
So
to
Vishnu
nurture,
is the one who's selling.
selling, then Vishkarma is the one who is creating. You should know how to build teams, how to build products, how to build customer point of view. Building is a very essential skill, and most sellers don't have that. When they become a manager, building teams, building point of views, building strategies become very challenging for them. So building as a muscle has to be built in your middle management layer before you promote them. And very important, when you need to fire, when you need to take those hard calls, that discomfort of saying no or pushing a person, that discomfort is never experienced before. So suddenly, if you are put in that discomfort, actually your performance dips. ability to handle discomfort is something that needs to be built, because you are going to have very hard conversations with people on performance, on their fitment. Sometimes it is just the market, because the
Hmm.
market is such, you need to downsize. It's a hard conversation, hard call that you need to take. So if these three things are not there, then it is very difficult for the middle manager. And middle manager has to push people, has to make
Yeah.
things happen, has to deliver on time, because your organization's reputation is on that middle management. That is where the
How
delivery
true.
lies.
Yes.
So you need to ensure these three qualities are there in your middle management before you promote.
Love it, Neha, because you said it so succinctly and so well. So they need to know how to build. They need to continue know how to sell, which they are really good at anyways. But they also need to be okay with discomfort, what you call destroying, or we can call it anything else. But any disruption, they need to be able to take those hard calls and not let their performance suffer because of those hard calls. I really like that. I absolutely love it. If you have any examples in which you have seen that happen or in which you have built that skill for some of your managers, like just tell us a little bit more about that.
So, Shruti, I have never been scolded. Like, for me, I can't take it. Like, if work is assigned to me, it needs to happen by so and so time, and I take utmost care that it is done. So, if somebody really shouts at me, that's my last day in that organization. Like, it'll not
Oh my
happen.
god.
I
Oh my
can't.
god.
I am like so particular on such things. And nobody shouts. Nobody has to remind me what I need to do. I will do it. So for me it does not come naturally to really tell people, push them, because I feel they will do it. It is assigned to them. And when I became a
Hmm.
first time manager, it was so hard for me. Then I sat down with my boss after 6 months, and I was like, this person is not doing anything, and what should I do? So he knows that I enjoy cooking. So he said that when you're baking cake, how many spoons you use? I said, I have this whole bunch, and for bigger
Yeah.
things, I have a bigger scoop. And so he said, that's how people are. Somebody will happen with this tiny dose. Like you just send an email, they will do it. For some, you need to send constantly. For some, you need a bigger dose of what is happening. So he said, according to the person, you design the way you interact, and what is your strategy. He said, what I do with you, I don't do with others.
Hmm.
He said, is
Hmm.
anybody else's name written on that blackboard other than yours? I said, no. He said, because it works on you, so I have written it there.
That's amazing. So basically, our leadership style needs to modulate with different people. And that is what you're saying is actually the core and the essence of how do you put the three together? How do you build? How do you sell? How do you influence? And then how do you destroy or dismantle? And when we are talking about disruption, and Neha, I know you're so close to AI, right? And everybody today is facing disruption in their own ways. Tell me a little bit more. How does this backbone of the organization, the middle managers, and especially when we think about sales organizations, what can they do to make the most of this disruption? And I'll tell you a specific thing that they are facing today, and I'm sure AWS is similarly facing. When we go and sell to our customers, right, our customers are sometimes coming back and saying, well, I am training a model to replace me. How do you deal with something like that?
So, Shruti, again, I would say understanding of customer and customer context is very, very important here. And you are not training a model to replace you. Your competitor is actually training a model to replace your organization. It
Wow.
is that, it is for customers. So it is more about, will you be in business or will you be out of business? It is
Hmm.
not actually person dependent. The whole business model is in question mark. And that is how I had to speak to my team, saying either we will be in business or we will be out of business. It is that critical. So with that lens, and if you are able to have that conversation and have that market dynamics conversation with your customers and make them understand what their competitors are doing, actually the conversation moves much faster.
This moves in a very constructive direction towards
Very
you.
constructive direction, because the adoption is real, the disruption is real.
Yeah, I really like that. I am definitely going to use it the next time somebody is coming up and discussing this with me because this is so true. All right, I know we're at time, Neha. The time has just flown by, so I'm going to ask you if the listeners had to take away one thing, what would you say to them?
Shruti, I am very biased for women. So, with your permission, I have some
Yes.
message for all women listeners, and if they are middle managers, much more for them. And I faced this a lot. I want to be that nice person, and I want to be liked by all. This is something inborn in me, and that has kept me away from leadership for the longest. So, two books I want to tell the listeners, every girl out there who's listening, to read. First is Courage to be Disliked. Like, this is your course book before you start work. Please read it cover to cover. Take copious notes. And second is Not Nice. This is for little more senior people who need to develop that discomfort, ability to handle discomfort. It is for them. So these two books I highly recommend, especially for ladies, because if they are not nice, if they're not perceived as a nice person, they have, at least I had a lot of problem. So I highly recommend these two books.
Love it. Thank you so much, Neha. And very different from I know what we were talking about, but I think this is important. So thank you for touching on this. And thank you so much, listeners. We will be back in a week with the next amazing episode. Bye.